Now we've got our walk, which we can trigger from the brain like this, and we can get them to rotate as well by offsetting the RY curve. Now we don't set the RY value directly because that's been set by the actions, so we need to offset the resultant value like this. But if we look closely at the feet, we'll see that they are actually slipping a little bit. So we can fix that by adding IK curves. We go back into the action editor and we select walk solo, and then we go curves. Now we're actually going to add IK to the toes, but we're going to add what we call RC, or rotation constraint curves, to the feet. So we select one curve from each foot. We could just do one foot at a time, but we can do both together. And then we go into the IK tab where we'll find the RC curves button. When we click on that, we get a whole load of new curves. And what they do is they now control the angle of the feet relative to the agent rather than relative to the lower leg. And this means that it removes any ambiguity when we try to solve for the toes in our IK. It also means that we can maintain sensible rotations for the feet when we're doing terrain adaptation. Okay, so now let's go back to the curves tab, and we can see we've got these new curves in there. We'll just select none, and now we select the toe bones by picking any curve for the toes. And we go back into IK and click on the IK curves button. Now if we go Alt-I, we can see that we actually have IK information being applied to the agent's toes. And that won't make any difference to the feet slipping yet because we still don't have the IK hold curves. So while the toes are selected, or curves for the toes are selected, we can hit the hold curve button and we'll get into hold curve creation mode, which is a sort of interactive mode where we can threshold these two curves that we now have here. Now these curves represent the speed of, in this case, left toes, and also the green one represents the height of left toes throughout the action. And by left or middle dragging, we can set up some automatically generated curves. The automatically generated IK hold curves, and they're a result of thresholding those speed and height curves that we see in the background there. Here in the view window we can see the results of that. The IK indicators go red when hold is on, and it's done a pretty good job of figuring out when is the appropriate time. But we could tweak that further if we wanted to. In the edit tab, we can just adjust those curves a little bit in there and get them how we want. And it's good to have a good ease off at the end, so that if the agent is to do something quite different from the original motion, that there's no popping when the hold comes off at the end. Now if we come out here and we watch the agent turning, we see that the feet are not slipping and that the ball of the foot is being held in the right position in world space. And we can save the actions. We can save an action binary here, and we could also save the agent again once we've done that, which will enable us to be able to load that agent back up, and all of the actions will come back because it will remember the action binary that's associated with that agent.